This video is not for scammers. Welcome to my channel's Striker 24x7. If you like my YouTube videos, then subscribe, click the bell icon, like, comment, and share. In this video, I am going to show you how to enable and configure the Vicibox inbuilt firewall, that is also called as Dynamic Good Guys or DGG. Prerequisites before we start: Vicibox 9 or later installed, admin access with necessary permissions, Linux console access with root or other sudo users. Before we start configurations, let's see what are the security options provided by Vicibox Firewall. Vicibox Firewall provides two types of security options. First one is whitelist IPs, which means allowing only good guys and blocking all others. Next options is blacklist IPs, which means blocking the bad guys and allowing access to all others. Under whitelist, you have two options. 1. Static list, which is set of IP address added by the admin to allow access to system. 2. Dynamic list, where a sender or an agent, authenticated with a predefined URL, after successful authentication, the system will automatically add their public IP under whitelist. You can enable either both or any one of this. Under blacklist security, you have three options. 1. Static list, that is list of IP address added by admin, to block access to the system. 2. VoIP blacklist, it's a database of malicious IPs list provided by voipbl.org, which is around 6,000 plus IPs database. 3. Geolocation blocking, that is list of geolocation to be blocked for system access. Here too, you can enable all, or specific options required. By default RFC 1918 IPs are whitelisted. That is the private networks. For the IP list, either you can use a static IP entry, or a IP subnets entry. As of now, only IPv4 is supported in Vicibox. In Vicibox you can have either whitelist or blacklist security options, but not both together. So choose your options. I personally recommend the whitelist options. Let's first start the whitelist firewall configuration. Before we start configuring the Vicibox firewall, we need to patch few bugs, and also understand the ports opened by the services inbuilt in Vicibox. Run the below commands to patch the bugs in Vicibox 9. I have provided these commands in this video description. Ports which are opened by the inbuilt services. * service opens port UDP 5060, 4569, and 8089 TCP. RTP service opens port UDP 10,000 to 22,000. Apache 2 opens port 80 TCP. Apache 2-SSL opens port 443 TCP. VC-portal opens port 821 TCP. VC-portal-SSL opens port 446 TCP. SSH opens port 22 TCP. Steps to enable whitelist security. Step 1. Enable Allow IP List option, under Admin. System Settings. Step 2. Add the trusted IPs in VC Whitelist, which you find under Admin, IP Lists menu. Activate the VC White IP list. Step 3. Attaching the public zone ACL list to the public-facing interface. For this you need to have console access to Command Yast Firewall. Step 4. Disabling the existing firewall script running in Cronjobs. By default, Blacklist security will be enabled. Step 5. Adding the Vicibox firewall script in cron tab with white flag, which will run on background every minute and whenever server reboots. Let's jump onto my demo setup and configure the whitelist firewall configuration. Log into the ViciDial admin portal. Navigate to admin menu. Under admin menu, click the system settings. Now in system settings, search for word allow IP. You will find Allow IP List feature, enable it by setting the value to 1. Scroll down the end and press Submit, to save the settings. Next refresh the page, or click the admin menu again. Now you will see IP List feature under admin menu. Click the IP Lists option. Under IP List, you will see two default IP list IDs. First one is ViciBlack, where you will enter the list of blacklisted IPs, or IPs which you want to restrict access. Next is VC White, where you will enter the trusted IPs or a network who can only access the system. Now activate by setting to yes, and enter the IPs which you want to allow access to the system. Now I am entering the IP of one of my demo PC. Also you can enter the network in CIDR format. Once done, submit. Next proceed to step 3, that is attaching public zone to public interface. Log into the VICIDIAL console. Type ViciBox firewall and press enter. Under Firewall Portal, select Interfaces and press enter. Now select your public-facing interface, by pressing Tab. And press Alt-C to change the zone. Now press Alt-Z, and select the public zone from the list, and press Alt-O to submit. Now in same portal, scroll down, select Public, and press Enter. Now is the allowed list. You can see list of service which are allowed in public zone. Now navigate to allowed list, and select all the services, except SSH. Now press Alt-E to remove these services from allowed list, which are open to public. The reason not selecting SSH? Because SSH is the only gateway to revert the settings. If we get blocked by any mistake, once you are confident, you can restrict SSH access also to whitelisted IPs. Now submit the changes by pressing Alt-A. Next, step 4, Cronjob entry. Type crontab-e and press enter. Now scroll down to the last line. Now disable the existing firewall cronjobs by typing hash in front of these two lines. Now add new Vicibox firewall script cronjob entry to run every minute, with ---- white flag and ---- quiet flag. Also add same entry with it reboot option, so that the whitelist entry will be updated every time server rebooted. Now save the cron tab entry by pressing Ctrl+X and type Y and then enter. We have completed the whitelist configuration. Let's test it by accessing the dialer from the desktop, which is configured with the IP which we have whitelisted. Here's our whitelisted IP, assigned to this demo PC. Let's test whether we can access the ViciDial admin or agent portal, that is either HTTP or HTTPS. Yes, we able to access and log in. Also we are able to register the soft phones, that is SIP or IAX phones. Now, let's test the access by changing the IP address, which is not whitelisted. Let's confirm whether the IP address has been changed. Now let me access the ViciDial login portal. You can see, unable to connect. Also my soft phone shows, request timeout. Thanks for watching. Now let's move on to dynamic whitelist configuration. Vicibox Dynamic Whitelist Firewall Configuration. Steps to followed. Step 1. Add the dynamic flag to our existing cron job used for whitelist. Step 2. Moving the VC portal or VC portal SSL in allowed services in public zone. Note, select VC portal. If you are accessing your ViciDial via HTTP, this service will open port 81. Or select VC portal SSL. If you are accessing your ViciDial via HTTPS, this service will open port 446. Step 3. After finishing step 1 and 2, access the dynamic portal and authenticate with ViciDial user. After successful authentication, his public IP will be added to the whitelist. Below is the URL to access the dynamic portal. Let's jump to my demo setup, to configure and demonstrate the Vicibox Dynamic Whitelist Firewall configuration. Log into your Vicibox console, type command yast firewall and press enter. In the firewall portal, scroll down and select public zone. Now from known services, select VC Portal if you are using HTTP, or VC Portal SSL, if you are using HTTPS, or both. Now press Alt-D, to add these services to allowed list, that is open to public access. Next press Alt-A to save the changes. Next cronjob entry with dynamic flag. Type crontab-e to enter the crontab file. Scroll down to the last line of this file. Now add -- dynamic flag, after the white flag which we have added in our whitelist configuration. Once done, save and exit the crontab. Now let's test the dialer access from my demo desktop. As accepted, I am not able to access. Now, let's access the dynamic portal, authenticate myself, which will add my public IP to the whitelist. This is the dynamic portal. I am using my admin credentials here, to authenticate myself. Now you can see, login validated message in the dynamic portal will identify my public IP and on the background it will add this IP in whitelist. Now go back and let's try to access the VC portals again. As you can see now, I am able to access the dialer page, and navigate to various menu, as well agent portal. Also you see, my soft phone shows SIP extension registered. Hope you understand how to configure and enable the dynamic whitelist firewall. In next slide I have provide some key points regarding the VC dynamic whitelist. Key points regarding the dynamic whitelist. Point number 1, VC users with user level 5 and above only can be authenticated in dynamic portal. Point number 2, as dynamic portal is open to public, so use strong password for the users, used to authenticate on dynamic portal. Point number 3, default age of the IP address added via dynamic portal is 14 days. That is on 15th day the IP address will be deleted automatically, which can overwritten in the Vicibox firewall script, on line number 53, or setting the dynamic age flag with number of days. Point number 4. As the dynamic portal is open to public, also the name validate is easy guess and documented in VCDial installation manual. I strongly recommend you to rename the validate.php file to some unique name, which you can share to your client or agents. The default location of dynamic portal page is /srv/www/vhost/dyn portal/. Use the mv command to rename the file, as shown here. Also you need to rename the word validate in your renamed file. Use set-i, as shown here. In this video description I have provided these commands. Vicibox Blacklist Firewall Configuration. Steps for configuring Blacklist Firewall. Step 1. Enable the Allow IP List feature. We have already done this in whitelist configuration. Step 2. Activate the VC blacklisted, and add the blacklisted IPs. Step 3. Attach the public zone to the public interface, and allow the major services in allowed service list. Step 4. Disable all the Vicibox firewall cronjob entries by typing # in front. Step 5. Add new Vicibox firewall cronjob entry without any flag, except quiet flag. This will activate the blacklist firewall protection. Let's jump to my demo setup, to configure and demonstrate the VC blacklist configuration. Log into the VCDial admin portal. Click admin menu, and select IP lists. Under IP lists, select ViciBlack, list ID. Activate this blacklist. Enter the IPs which you want to blacklist. I am entered my demo PC IP. Once done, submit. Next you can disable, or keep active the VC whitelist. Next step 3, that is allowing the major services open to public, under public zone. Log into the Vicibox console and type yes firewall. Now in Firewall Portal, select Public Zone. Under No Services, select the services like Apache 2, Apache 2-SSL, Asterisk and RTP. Now press Alt-T to add the selected services to the allowed list. From the allowed list, you may remove the VC portal and VC port SSL, which no more required. Once done, press Alt-C to save the changes. Next, crontab entries, type crontab-E. Under crontab, scroll down to the last line. Now edit our existing firewall script crontab entries, or you can add new entries, without any flag. This will activate the Vicibox Blacklist firewall. Save and exit the crontab. Let's jump to my demo PC, and demonstrate the Vicibox Blacklist firewall. Now my demo PC is assigned with IP which is not blacklisted. Let's test whether we are able to access the dialer portal. Yes, we are able to access. Also, we are able to register the soft phones. Now let's assign the blacklisted IP to this PC, and access the dialer. As you notice, I am not able to access the dialer portal. Also my soft phone shows, not able to register the extension, 408 timeout. Let me remove the blacklist IP, and assign IP which is not in blacklist, then confirm whether we can access the dialer and register the phones. Hope you understand how to configure the blacklist. Let's jump to next section, that is VoipBL Blacklist Firewall Configuration. Vicibox VoipBL Blacklist Firewall Configuration. Steps to configure and enable VoipBL Blacklist Configuration. Step 1. Enable the crontab entry for the Vicibox Firewall script, with VoipBL flag and no black flag. As said earlier, you can run both ViciBlack as well VoipBL security together. As the VoipBL IP database is huge and dynamic, so recommended to run the script every 4 hours and whenever server reboots. Here is the crontab entry format to run every 4 hours and whenever server reboots. Now let's jump to my demo setup, to configure and demonstrate the Voipbl firewall configuration. Log into your Vicibox console, and go to Cronjob by typing cronjob-e. Now go to the last line of your Cronjob file. Now either uncomment the existing Voipbl firewall cron entry, if not add new entries for Voipbl, to run every 4 hours and whenever system reboots. Save and exit the Cronjob file. Now let's test our configuration. Before testing, let's check my demo IP is in the Voipbl Blacklist category. As you noticed here, the IP is listed in VoIP Blacklist. Next, let's assign the same IP to my demo PC and check the dialer access. As you notice, I am not able to access the dialer web page. Now let's re-register my soft phone. As my existing connection will be maintained, so I need to re-register. As you can notice here, soft phone not able to register and gives 408 request timeout. Now let's revert my PC IP, that is which is not in ViciBlack list or Voipbl list, and check my soft phone registration status. As you notice my soft phone registers now. Hope you understand how to enable Voipbl firewall configuration. Let's go to next section, Geolocation blocking. Key points related to Voipbl security. Point number 1. Voipbl rules only block * services, like port 5060 SIP protocol, port 4569 IAX protocol, port 8089 WebRTC. These rules can be modified in direct.xml file. Point number 2. Not 100% genuine, as I noticed Chinese IPs not updated. Point number 3, you must have internet in your server to download the IP list. Vicibox Geo Location Blacklist Firewall Configuration. Steps to enable geolocation blocking. Step 1, enable the cronjob entry for the geolocation blocking. ipset-geoblock is the script name to enable geo-blocking. As the geolocation database is huge and mostly static, so recommended to run this script once or during reboot. By default this script will add these countries' IP details to blacklist. China, Russia, India, Pakistan etc. which can be modified by editing the line number 18 in this script. Step 2, either you can reboot the system to update the geolocation list, or run the script manually to update the list immediately. Let's jump to demo setup, to configure and demonstrate the geolocation blocking. Log into your Vicibox console, and go to Cronjob by typing cronjob-e. Now go to the last line of your Cronjob file. Now enter geolocation script cronjob entry to run every time server reboots. Save and exit the cronjob file. Now run the ipset-geoblock command to update the geolocation database. As you notice, the script will update IP list database of the countries listed out in the script. Let's test our geolocation blocking by jumping to my demo PC. As you notice I am using the IP which comes under the geolocation India. By default India is in blacklist, so my request should be blocked now. I am not able to access the dialer web page now because of geolocation blocking. Now let's re-register my soft phone. As my existing connection will be maintained, so I need to re-register. As you can notice here, soft phone not able to register and gives 408 request timeout. As the geolocation blocks all requests to the system, so I no more access via SSH. I need to access direct server console, and remove the India from the block list. Now you notice the India is discarded now in IP list update. Hope you understand how to enable geolocation blocking. Let's go to next slides. Key points related to geolocation blocking firewall. Point number 1. Geolocation blocking blocks all requests to the dialer, that is all ports. Make sure your country is not in the blacklist before enabling it. Point number 2. It's not 100% genuine, as I noticed most of the time Chinese IPs are loaded or update. Point number 3. Hackers are around the world, so don't just rely on geolocation blocking. Without the Vicibox firewall script, VICIDIAL have the option to restrict the user access to admin, agent and API access. Here too, we have Whitelist and Blacklist option, allows access to the IPs in the selected list. This will only restrict access to web portal, that is admin, agent and API. Whitelist is enabled per user group. Every user group can have their own whitelist selected. Next, Blacklist denies access to entire system web resources. Blacklist will enabled by selecting the IP list under Admin, System Settings, System IP Blacklist. Note, for this security feature, you no need to run script or firewall services. This will restrict only web services, that is port 80 and 443. After authentication it will show that you are blocked. FAQ and other points. How to check whether IPs update in firewall. Type IP set list command. This will shows IPs in each category. How to define my own white or blacklist. For whitelist, run the firewall script with whitelist flag pointing your whitelist ID. For blacklist, run the firewall script with blacklist flag pointing your blacklist ID. If just white flag is set, the script will take IP from the VC whitelist. If no flag is set, the script will activate the blacklist firewall, and take the IPs from default list VC Black. Here is the list of flags you can set in Vicibox firewall script. Thanks for watching. Catch you yet another video.